day 8 of being a girl, and I've gotten some messages that are saying that I need to be calling myself a woman and not a girl. And I didn't even know that some women were offended by being called girls, so that's really good to know. But for me, the word girl feels great because I never got to be one growing up. And it feels very able to make mistakes and growing and changing and evolving, whereas the word woman feels very strong and confident and powerful, and that still intimidates me a little bit. So I'm gonna keep calling myself a girl. Hope that's okay. Love ya.
Honestly, I just play that video because the sound of the wood chipper at the end really kind of gets me going. Like it's a very satisfying.
Yes. Sorry, didn't mean to sweat the word out under your feet there, man. It's just
it's got that good. It's got that good flow to it. I don't know.
It's got a good rhythm. Yeah.
Yeah. Nice little vibrations. Yeah, it's nice.
Yeah, Mark likes the good vibrations.
That sounds way too hippie-ish for Mark.
Well, Clyde's not here, so I gotta be the one to say the weird, awkward.
You do have the longest hair in the bunch.
It's true. The beard helps.
I had to trim mine up a little bit. It was getting kind of wild on the sides.
Well, I mean, the fall and winter months are approaching, so you might as well just let it go.
Well, I'm not keeping it like short. I'm gonna start letting it get long in preparation for that, but I still need to keep it like under control because basically the sides were just going.
Look a little Amish.
Yeah, it's looking a little funny. What did everybody get into this weekend? Anything fun?
Apparently, we went bowfishing.
Nope.
No, we didn't go bowfishing.
According to the title.
My buddy Phil, who is also a ginger, he came over to help me put drywall up this weekend. Now Phil is doing it right, Mark. To take notes.
Doing what, ginger, right? Is this what you're talking about?
His girlfriend is also a ginger.
There we go.
So Phil's got this whole ginger thing figured out.
Tried that and it didn't work out.
Like that one time.
But now fire with fire.
We even had her watch a couple episodes or parts of a couple episodes of this show, and she enjoyed it and thought it was funny. So it was like 2 parts hysterical laughter and 1 part, holy shit, I can't believe you actually said that.
Which episode did you show them?
See, she watched Friday's episode and Vasectomy Clubhouse because that's the easy one to find.
Yeah. Flagship show.
Yeah, that is the premiere episode of.
I know it leaves you feeling left out, Mark, but it's only a matter of time.
Yep. Crank out a couple ginger kids and then you'll get it taken care of.
You might insist on it.
I might insist on it.
She might insist on it.
Or she might insist on it.
The world might, depending on how ginger they are.
Depending on how soulless they come out.
Did I tell how I went about approaching that decision?
From your soulless kids, like the ones.
No, the decision to get the vasectomy. So before my ex and I got married, she said that she wanted 4 kids. I was like, 2. I want 2. She said, well, then we can compromise and meet in the middle and have 3. I said, you better hope the second one comes out as twins, because after 2, there's literally a way that I can take care of that and not have more. And so after number 2 was alive and healthy, I went and had that taken care of. I told that story to somebody, and there was a female there, and she's like, you didn't have to have her like sign off on you doing that? Like, it's my balls. Why do I have to have somebody else sign off on it? If they had asked me that question, I'd have just told them I was single and wanted to do it myself.
That would be kind of funny if that was a law. Like your wife has to sign off on your vasectomy.
It's
like legally sign off.
supposedly a two-way street, man. You know, that's what
Say what happened to my body,
feminists
my
always say,
choice.
yeah.
Damn it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, obviously, it has to. I mean, the other way around. Like husbands do have to sign off on the other.
For a
Because
hysterectomy?
that's the way. Yeah. I'm being facetious, but.
Oh, I was going to say, I don't think so.
That's always hard to tell.
But I was being serious.
Say, first wife had a hysterectomy, and current wife had a ablation, and I don't recall having to sign paperwork on either of them.
Well, you're doing it wrong then, man.
I feel like when Mark makes a joke, it's that what is that? The Star Wars meme where it's like, he
You're
says
joking,
like, oh,
right?
you're joking, right? You know, like you're joking, right? Oh, Mark, you're so funny.
Well, speaking of the wood chipper, do we want to jump right into? I'm sure y'all all saw this over the weekend.
I didn't, but I don't run in the same circles as you. Is this the same couple that we were talking about with the monkeypox?
No, this is actually a different one.
Oh, I would have thought that would have been the dead giveaway.
You would have thought. No, this one is gay married couple in Walton County, Georgia, has been arrested on suspicion of sex crimes against two boys they adopted. Investigators say they recorded themselves sexually abusing the children. Looked into the backgrounds, and they are liberal activists. Imagine that. So Andy No has some more information on how has Andy No not been completely like nuked off of every social media that's not alt-right at this point. Like,
this is just Georgia's way around incest laws. You just adopt the kids, and then it's not technically incest.
where is Clyde when we need him?
Yeah,
Oh,
no.
good.
Oh God, no,
Sorry,
we're
I didn't mean to
not.
blow up his spot.
Oh my God. Moving on. We're gonna move on. We're gonna move on. We already went too far. Anyway, so Brittany Griner is gonna be spending 9 years in jail. Let's go. Let's move on. They got. Whew. Yes, Brittany Griner. I wish this ad would decide if it wants to drop down or stay up at the top. Like, quit fucking around. All right. Why Brittany Griner's peril is felt by all black women in America? Because if you weren't aware, all black women in America are highly likely to travel to Russia carrying illegal drugs in their suitcase. You know,
it's only black lesbians that are feeling her peril. They should be a little bit more honest here.
Maybe so. You might be right on that. So aren't these the like the Russian prison tattoo stars like that they get for the Russian mob like gets for killing people? You ever see the movie Eastern Promises? I'm pretty sure these stars have significance within the organized crime world of Russia and that part of the world.
I thought it's just what hipsters got tattooed on them back in 2006.
Well, yes, but it's to make them seem like a badass because of.
I hope that that's the real reason that she got arrested. Then they're like, you're culturally appropriating. Toss her in jail because of that.
Mistaken for a Russian gangster.
Yeah, that's probably what it was. No, watch the movie Eastern Promises. On top of being a very good movie, it also goes into some of that stuff. So anyway, why is it that Miss Griner, her peril is felt by all black women in America? When tennis star Serena Williams gave birth to her daughter in 2017, she nearly died because doctors did not believe her when she cried out in pain. She was suffering from blood clots in her lungs.
Newsflash, some doctors are idiots. Most doctors are idiots. I don't know.
So Williams was at the mercy of a medical system that is uniquely fatal for black women. She's like a millionaire. Why is she going to bad doctors?
Right.
And what did the blood clots have to do with, number one, her pregnancy, and number two, Brittany Griner?
Well, Justin, there's this thing called systemic racism. I don't know if you've ever heard of it. It's kind of making its rounds throughout the culture.
Morning, Magoo. What's up, Trey?
I got nothing else on it.
I don't know. I'm obviously
Yeah,
I didn't read this
I'm
article.
baffled. Yeah. But I'm not surprised. Let me say that.
Yeah, the headline says it all, but like I'm really not seeing anything in the article itself that connects why.
I guess systemic racism wouldn't make sense, though, because this is in Russia, unless, the 4 years of collusion with Russia and the Trump administration was enough for Russia to
That's what it is.
arrest Brittany Griner.
Trump turned Putin and all of Russia into white supremacy.
Seems to be the only logical answer here.
I have not.
What is Griner? 6'5"?
I'm pretty sure she's like 6'8" or 6'9".
6'8", 9.
I mean,
She
I
got
never-
a duck through a residential doorway. That's crazy.
I'm 6'5", and I never missed a dunk that I attempted.
The way he's phrasing this, Dag, I don't know.
You can dunk like, yeah. Like, isn't a basket 12 feet? Like, isn't that the
It's 10.
standard?
Yeah, it's
You can
10.
dunk that. It's 10.
Yeah,
I got to see a video of you dunking, or I don't believe it.
I don't know. I mean, that would.
I'm not saying look up a video. I'm saying get your boy there. He's got his video camera in his hand.
Oh,
Go
shit, I
outside.
can't do that anymore.
I never missed a dunk that I attempted off a trampoline, but
But no, like in a game or something like that, if I went for a dunk, I made I flushed it. I didn't miss a dunk that I tried like in a game or something like that.
So
I might
was this
do-
like a
I might do
rim rabbit
something-
like kind of dunk, or was this like a you got it in there?
did you ever posterize someone?
One guy, he was not
Is that
happy.
where you rub your dick across his face midair?
On
Pretty
the back
much,
of his
yes.
head. On the back of his head. But yeah.
Cool.
It's one of those moments I'll never forget. We're lined up. A buddy of mine was shooting free throws, and he hit the first one, and the guy who was lined up on the free throw lane next to me, I said, he's gonna miss this one, and I'm gonna dunk it off the tip on the back of your head. And he goes, bullshit, and it came off the front of the rim, and I just jumped straight up and grabbed it with both hands and came forward and dunked it and drug my nuts across the back of the dude's head. It was nice. He then tried to undercut me and take my legs out from under me, which I don't blame him, because I did tell him I was going to do it, but
Yeah, it's fair. I mean,
Yeah.
all
I
part
mean-
of the game, right?
right. I would
Well, spare
I
love
would
in
expect
basketball.
nothing less. If he had just stood there and took it, I'd have probably called him a bitch as well. So the fact that he tried to take me out was, that's part of it. I appreciate it.
Did
I wasn't-
attempt to sexually assault him. So,
Right, I
mean,
wasn't mad. I appreciated that he gave a little pushback on that.
that's- Anybody who just laughs about having another man's dick on him is obviously gay.
Right. If there wasn't any pushback, then I'd be a little worried. I wouldn't guard the guy the rest of the game. Ooh, good job, buddy. Like, all right, man.
It'd be like when Magic Johnson first came back to the NBA.
That dude scored 40 points because nobody could guard him.
Nobody would touch him. They're like, oh shit, if we get too close to him, he's gonna breathe on us. We're all gonna get AIDS.
Oh, fuck.
Let's see, Sean. What else are we talking about today? You are terrible.
You don't tell me any of this.
You said that your child was alive and well. I don't know, by just observing him back there.
Literally right there.
Yep.
He's moving. So.
Alive and well. The well is the part I'm a little bit worried about.
Well, look, there are different degrees of well. He's not being raped by a gay couple, so
You
he's
know,
doing pretty.
it's
He's doing pretty
better
well.
than most children these days.
That's right.
I hear it's a real epidemic.
He has
About
not
the-
been. He's not been turned trans by his teachers yet. I mean, we're in pretty good shape.
That's good.
There's even a slight chance he has a girlfriend, and she's like a real human being, not one on the computer. So
And living in Canada doesn't count, though. She goes to another school. You guys don't know her.
Let's
Philippines.
see.
Got 300 Haitian migrants ran aground in the Keys.
Wait, what do you mean by ran aground? What is that? How
They're on a here. Let me see if I can send you the thing.
were they on a raft or something?
It's they made it. I looked it up. They made it sound like it was a quote unquote makeshift ship, but it just looks like a a yacht, for lack of a better term. Not a big fancy Russian oligarch yacht, but a sailboat.
Yeah, I mean, Soros has to like make it look sort of genuine when he funds these things.
I mean, like I would believe. Yeah, it looks like an old dilapidated sailboat.
Yeah, it can't be like a nice yacht like you're saying, but it also can't be like pool floaties that they're coming over on.
Yeah, no, it's not quite a door. It's a step up from a door.
There we go.
They say 300. I can't imagine there's 300 people fit on that boat.
Have you ever seen Mexicans cram into a car? I mean,
yeah, but, I mean, there's like physical logistics with buoyancy. Like I'm looking at this boat, and there's maybe 20 people standing on top of it. And I just can't imagine another 280 down in the hold. I mean, I guess it's possible, but did you get the article there?
Oh, come on now! I've seen at least 30 Mexicans get in a truck bed. Like they can definitely get 300 people in this thing.
They called it a ship. And I'm like, that's fucking interesting. I pulled this up and I was like, whoa.
So this is coming towards Florida, or it arrived, or what?
Yeah, it ran aground.
Ran aground?
I guess north of Key
There's
Largo.
that phrase. You keep saying that like we know what that means.
Oh, sorry, you guys aren't boat people. Yeah, that means that it hit a sandbar basically and is stuck, because when you have 300 Haitians crammed in it, it's a draft, which is what you call the depth that the boat goes underwater. So the depth that it can sail in gets greatly, it's much larger, so it's going to run aground easier when you cram.
Sean said, "Shut up, nerd."
300 people in it.
It is Simpsons.
Oh, Jesus. Okay, never mind. If you scroll down, yeah, they show it before 150 of them jumped out and swam ashore. And yeah, it's pretty damn packed.
Is that a flag in the front? Because they didn't do a great job of Oh.
Yeah, okay, yeah, I take it back. That's a lot of motherfuckers on that.
That is a ton of people.
I told you.
Holy shit.
I told you.
Well, that was the thing. I was just like surprised it could even sail with that many people on it. But again, if that was the issue they had, was running aground. It would make sense. What's really funny is it's a gated community in the Keys that they ran aground and flooded, and then they're on islands. So I mean, I guess I have to assume they'll be able to round them up relatively easily. Keys are all pretty small islands.
Keys is where all the gays are at, right?
Yeah, especially Key West, I believe.
Well, those poor Haitians are going to be like, you know what? We're coming back.
Wait a minute. This is
not what we were told America was.
Yeah, no, you need a couple degrees latitude north for sure.
I know a few Haitians, and they're not really into the gay stuff.
No, I don't think most of the immigrants from south of the border are very into that, except Ricky Martin. But that's another story.
What was the story about Ricky Martin? Were you the one telling us?
Yeah, his nephew and him were allegedly had a relationship, and he allegedly beat him. And then he got a restraining order allegedly put against them, and then it all got dropped. So
That's a pretty impressive looking boat. I got to say, like,
it was probably a nice ass boat in its day.
if they if they impound that, I would like for you to go buy it for me, and I'll come get it. I'll pay you back. Like I'd like to fix that up and take it out on the river sometime.
Dude, the fucking hell yeah, the fucking Agorist migrant boat, fucking sailboat restoration project. Hell yeah. I can be down with that.
Just stuffing down the Mississippi.
Yeah.
Drop it.
That's what I was looking at. They have a motor in
Agora Market on the Mississippi.
I was like, I'm gonna drop that thing in the Ohio, just ride it down to the Mississippi, head to the Gulf.
I assume it's got to be like the gambling rules. Like as long as you're in the Mississippi, you're allowed to do whatever you want, right?
Man, we can make an Agorist boat tour out of this. Like, we'll dump it in the Ohio. all the way down to Mississippi to the Gulf, and then over to Tampa. We'll crash that bitch on the land, and then we'll take off and like invade some gated community.
Well, you know what's really like I do love that you get the whole migrant experience. But that actually is like a thing. So Tampa is like pirates are like their thing, and they have like this festival every year called Gasparilla, and they do like a fake pirate invasion. And I don't know what the historical, if any, historical reference or significance there is to it.
In 2020, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers won the Super Bowl. That's the historical precedent.
Oh, okay. They've been doing this for 100 years as a precursor to that. Okay, gotcha. It used to be a lot of fun, man. Like there was 2 parades every year. There was the adult parade and the kids parade. And the kid parade, whatever. But the adult parade was fucking insane. It was like in Ybor City. And I used to go when I was like 17, 18. And I don't know how I didn't die because it was like horribly dangerous. But
a lot of raping and pillaging going on.
Lots of boobies. I was getting groped by women. It was amazing. Yeah, pretty cool. But as I imagine, it's not like that anymore.
You got a decent pirate vibe you give off, Dag. Like you could just be like a natural pirate. So it's
deeply ingrained into our culture in Tampa. Lots of pirate shit. Yeah.
Let's see. We're gonna watch Brittany Griner fail to dunk a basketball. Oh man, this isn't even in a game. This is
like setting her up.
Makes it even more embarrassing. Yeah. In a game, it's excusable. I'm trying to show how awesome women athletes are.
Oh wow!
But she hangs on the rim to make it seem cooler.
I at least got a dangle here to show I couldn't.
Hang on, give it one more shot. You got it this time. There you go. Oh yeah, tie your shoe. You don't want to fall and bust your face.
Should play Eminem's one shot in the background.
I want to see her try to one-hand it and just get completely hung. Let's see. Oh,
she went for the one-hander that time.
Man, that's just sad. Like I feel bad.
And then you just can't keep going. It's like you get to like 5 or 6 in a row. It's like, right, this is.
We're running out of tape, guys.
Make it stop.
Man, that was painful. I mean, like, that's what I would look like trying to dunk now.
We keep changing the narrative, but maybe the Russians saw that video and that's why they arrested her.
Probably so. She definitely, like Magoo said, she definitely deserves to do at least a few months for that. Like 6 months minimum for each. So that's her first year is just for those, and then they gave her the other 8 years for smuggling in.
Yeah, I mean they watched the WNBA in general, and they're like, oh, like all these women deserve to be.
Actually, it's interestingly enough, and I think we've talked about it before, the reason that she's over there and other WNBA players go over there and do this is because they actually make more money playing in these Russian and European leagues than they do playing in the U.S. Because
hey, don't tell Megan Rapinoe.
Russia and a lot of these European countries really like women's basketball for some reason. Like they enjoy it and they support it, whereas the NBA and America don't particularly care for that. So that is kind of the interesting thing is like she's there because she's probably more popular there than she is here.
The unfortunate thing is that we couldn't convince Megan Rapinoe to go because she gets all the corporate sponsorship. She gets plenty of money.
That's true.
Yeah.
She makes a lot of money complaining about not making enough money.
It is funny how there's always like the one like person of whatever group that says like, oh, they claim to speak for the whole group and say that the whole group doesn't get taken care of, but then they do extremely well. And hey, maybe she just disperses all of her money to the other soccer players. I don't know, but I'm gonna go ahead and
doubt it.
Wager that doesn't happen.
Well, it's like the Parkland kids started as a whole bunch of them, and now it's just David Hogg. It seems, right?
Yeah, what happened to the rest of the Parkland group? Did they?
Because there was another high-profile female at the beginning, I think, and I don't remember what the fuck her name was, if she even existed.
Yeah, there were a handful of those.
The March for Our Lives people.
There were a handful of those survivors that were really big in the news there for a year or so, and then they've all fallen off. And David Hogg's the only one that's remained relevant in any way. And
And now he's like the leftist version of Alex Jones. Every time there's a mass shooting, he says they're planning the next one, and then it happens.
I mean,
Weird how that happens.
he's right. They are planning the next one. What happened with did anybody see any more information on the latest mall shooting? Like there have been a string of mall shootings this summer. They haven't gotten a lot of attention because that one here in Indy or outside of Indy, the guy got clipped in like 15 seconds by the Amish kid, and I don't know that he was Amish. He just had a very Amish name. But
the Amish kid shot up the mall, or he saved
the mall shooter got
the electronic stores.
The mall shooter got clipped by some guy who had his name was like Elijah.
Oh yeah.
And
Can Amish people go in malls?
He had a real baby face. I don't know if I mean, you see them in stores and stuff around here. So
they just can't drive there.
Right.
Yeah,
they take their buggy.
Pile in a van or something, or take their buggy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're allowed to leave their community and go do things. Like they just have certain rules and restrictions for what they do and don't do.
They're allowed to have iPhones. They just can't plug them into the wall. It's fucking weird.
Yeah, you get one of those solar chargers on the little pad and you sit it on that.
That's exactly it. They're allowed to have solar panels and batteries, but not power lines.
Can they have electricity in their barn?
If it's solar
Or is
power.
this okay?
I'd say they have.
But it's just not like in the home.
They have it in the home as long as it's solar power. I'm
As
telling
long
you,
as it's
dude.
solar power. Okay.
I mean, well, okay, in the Amish community that I had the sort of experience with in Ohio, that was the case. And they had solar panels in their houses. And that's how you could tell which ones were the Amish families. They wouldn't have a car and they had a solar panel.
And now some of them do still.
Yeah.
There are some incredibly traditional communities that stick to like none of that shit. Period. You don't do it.
No buttons, motherfucker.
There were
Unless they're in
some
your shirt, of course.
There were some back home where we're from
These
that
pins.
the guy was buying this big hog farm, and so when Dad was doing the appraisal for the hog farm and everything, the guy was there and he was like I'm gonna keep the central air for the house because the house is downwind from the hog barns, and I don't want my wife to have to smell that all the time, so I'm gonna keep the central air for the house. And Dad like, you don't have to justify any of that for me. I'm just telling you what the place is worth. Like, we've got two air units for our house. You're good.
Hey, it's been said before. The Amish probably had no idea COVID was going on, and good for them.
Yeah. No, I dig the Amish.
Didn't they
Where's my
say
friend
that some of them, like, if somebody got it, they would all just like cram into the house together with them so that everybody could get it and then they could just move on? I'm pretty sure they were talking about that in like somewhere in Western Pennsylvania that was happening. Like these big Amish communities where if somebody came down with COVID, everybody would just go like crowd into the house with that.
So they're
person.
just like herd immunity right away for the
Yeah, go crowd into that house with the person for 2 or 3 days so that everybody got it and then they just got over it and moved on with life.
Makes more sense than what everyone else did the rest of the time.
Having someone down for 2 weeks is like a big deal when you rely on labor, to live, like when you're a subsistence farmer or whatever you want to call them. So it would make sense to be able to plan for that, like, hey, or do half and half. Like half people get it, the other half people get it, and then we're good through cabbage harvesting season.
Forget the farmer's almanac. I'm going to look for the Amish almanac.
Yeah. Shit, they don't even need one. They just go lick their finger, go outside, stick it in the air. They know what's up.
Oh, let's see what else we
Granddaddy's
got
journal.
in the news today. Who sent this article? I think Dag sent this one. This one was pretty interesting. Liberal city leaders launch a gun buyback program. Get outsmarted by a guy who makes $3,000 off of it. So the Houston, Texas had a gun buyback program. This guy sold 63 3D printed lowers for $3 a piece.
That's what they cost him to make, or $3 a piece.
Oh yeah, it cost him $3 a piece
yeah.
to make them. I think they paid anywhere from, what were they paying out for? Like
it was like $25 to $200 in gift cards, Visa gift cards.
So he sold these back to the government, or he?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, they allotted $1 million for gun buyback programs.
So he sold all of his 3D printed guns and lowers to this gun buyback program. And after he did this, the city of Houston then released an announcement that they would no longer be able to purchase ghost guns in the buyback program. All these illegal ghost guns on the street are a hazard to our communities. We can't buy them back though because they're smarter than us.
Okay, smarter than us.
The article's funny because it's from like a law enforcement, blog or news outlet or whatever. So of course the tone is much different than the tone things we typically read are. But yeah, they say funny things like this just shows how easy they are to make. Which of course these are just like lowers typically. Like he's not building like a whole AR and giving it back to him. But then what's really funny is at the end they start talking about like, this is ridiculous how these gun buybacks are no questions asked. We need to be figuring out who's dropping these off and then prosecuting and this and that. And it's like, well, that's supposed to be kind of the point. Like people wouldn't bring them and drop, because if you're a mom and your husband and sons died and guns are just in the fucking, you don't know what they've been used for, first off. So I don't think you have legal liability attached to those guns. And second off, like, you just like, get them the fuck out of my house kind of thing. Like, I think that's what these things are typically supposed to be for, or what if like some abused woman's husband's in prison and she goes and takes his fucking guns in, you know what I mean? Is she supposed to be held liable for his fucking murders? I don't know. But that just seems kind of silly. If I get that you would want to solve crimes, but if the point is to get guns off the street, you would think the best way to do that would be to say no questions asked. Otherwise, people aren't going to bring them in out of fear of prosecution. That's why you do these things in the first place. So otherwise, people just bring them to a police station.
I thought this line was interesting. The goal was not personal profit, but to send Houston leaders a message about spending $1 million in tax money on something that has no evidence or of any effect on crime.
Yeah, this seems even like impossible to have happened 5 years ago in Texas. Like Texas, I feel like it's just, I don't know if it's a hopeless cause, but they're losing their based status real quickly.
Well, just like any government program that tries to eliminate something by throwing money at it, they just make more of the problem because now, now there's 63 new guns that weren't even in existence, before this, that somebody just created for this. It's like, what's the story of like where they tried to they put a bounty out on like cobras in India? And so people just started raising cobras to get the bounty. And then there ended up being more cobras because they discovered it. So everybody let all their cobras go.
Yeah, that is a really interesting story. So they had initially there was a rat problem. And so people started raising cobras to take care of the rat problem. Well, then it became a cobra problem. So then they started offering bounties for people to kill the cobras. Well, then people figured out I can just raise more cobras and kill them and take in the dead cobras and just rake in money off of this. So then they stopped the buyback program entirely. But at that point, or the bounty program entirely. But at that point, you got all these people raising cobras. So then all these people start just releasing the cobras because they don't need them anymore because they're not worth anything. And now you've got a cobra problem again.
And all these people have just been 3D printing guns for the last 4 months to do this exact same stunt. What are they going to do? They just have to release their lowers into the wild.
I know. I'm going to have to buy them shits on the dark web for cheap. And then I'm going to have to go buy a mill and a lathe and start putting together all the rest of it.
There's a chance there was a first officer death from a 3D printed gun.
A chance at a first?
Yeah, well, there's articles that say it happened, but from some of the sources I was hearing from it, they were saying I'd give it a week or two. I guess the guy had a lot of 3D printed guns and a 3D printer at his house. So initial reports said it was a 3D printed gun, but who knows? If anything, it was like an AR. So it could have been an AR lower. Allegedly, it's the first time that it's been a 3D printed, if it's true.
Now, look, I've been hearing for some years now that 3D printed guns are just like flooding the streets and all these criminals, and like they're a huge problem. Are you telling me that that's not the case?
It's not the case. Now, not to be confused with ghost guns in general. Those apparently have had some incidents, but from 3D printed variety.
Because ghost guns are like, they're made with like instruction manuals, right? They're not like.
No,
Well,
a
like, you
ghost
can
gun is
buy-
technically anything that doesn't have a serial number, basically.
Oh, okay.
Right. So you can buy a kit legally, to build a Glock, and you do a couple things to the lower, as that's the regulated part, and then you can buy the other parts legally. You build it yourself. It's totally legal to do in most places in the country, and there's no problem there. But people have been doing that for decades. So I mean, that's why we don't know how many guns are out there. They can look at the background checks, but I mean, a lot of people have many, many, many of these alleged ghost guns. But I mean, a lot of cases are just hobbyists or whatever, But yeah, so that's typically considered a ghost gun. But with a 3D printer, you're basically just 3D printing your own, 80% lower or 100% lower. But you can do that because it's self-manufactured. So
Gotcha.
yeah.
I see
Gun stuff.
a vase of flowers in the background there, Dagris. Did you have to
yeah.
apologize for something?
No. It was just a preemptive apology.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
It
every
was
now
like,
and then.
I don't know what I
Proactive.
fucked up for yet, but
There
here's
you
some
go.
flowers. It's
It's like when you're a podcaster, yeah, you get a couple extra ones that you just keep to the side in case something comes up that week and you can't get one out. Try and
You
get-
heard about Justin's dream on Friday, so you're like, I'm going to have a dream like this coming up. My wife's going to have a dream like this coming up. So
Just get some flowers and be prepared.
I don't want to have to throw away my favorite shirt.
I don't know where that went. I had it in the laundry hamper, and I haven't seen it yet. So it's probably been burned.
Wood chippered.
Yeah, it got wood chippered. I got a lot done over the weekend. I got the ceiling sheet drywall put up for the ceilings in 2 rooms. I've almost got the girls' room completely done. I just got to finish out the edges on the last wall of that room and build in another little corner piece, and that'll be done. I'm about halfway done with everything, so it's kind of nice. I gotta go work on some stuff today. I'm gonna go play basketball. Speaking of failing to dunk, I'm gonna go play basketball tonight. So I'm going to attempt to dunk and see if I can get as close as Brittany Griner.
hey, videos
If I
are going
can-
to happen.
If I can, I'm gonna shave the beard. Actually, I don't even think I have to shave anymore. I'm just gonna identify as a trans woman and go play in the WNBA, and that's where I'm gonna make my thousands of dollars.
Throw out the dreads.
Hundreds of thousands in front of tens of fans.
But the foreign market's huge out here, so
Yeah. What is the
No, I
closest?
just don't think they're as receptive to the trans stuff over in Russia, especially.
probably
I
not.
might be wrong.
Yeah,
Still
I
end
doubt
up
it.
in prison. Yeah.
What's the closest WNBA franchise to you?
I don't know where are they?
I think there's one in Detroit. I don't know how close you are to Detroit.
Yeah, fuck some Detroit. I'm not going there. If there was one in India,
You might run into some other issues if you move to Detroit.
Yeah,
There's got to be one in Orlando, right?
probably.
That's somewhere in Florida.
In Orlando or Miami.
Yeah.
I think most of them are like out
Chicago.
west, like in Phoenix and LA, and I know there's one in San Antonio, or used to be. I don't know if it still exists. There used to be. They've tried really hard to make that a thing for a while.
Yeah, it seems like they kind of gave up. I remember the Magic app happens here too, commercials or something like that. It's like the fact that they had to put 2 on there, like, kind of shows you everything.
So, is there no baseball right now? Is there something going on with baseball, like they're striking or something?
Baseball is just fucking boring. There's nothing like it's not.
It's going on because yesterday my dad was like, "Did you see the Cardinals beat the Yankees?" I didn't know that was even a series going on. So
Yeah, we had a slow night Friday night at work, and me and one of the guys watched part of the Cardinals game on his phone while we were on our lunch break, and like, I know the Braves were playing the Mets last night, and we were scrolling through stuff on Hulu. I was like, "Oh, you want to watch the Braves Mets game?" And Stephanie goes, "Who cares about the Braves? Fuck that." I was like, all right then. I was like, I have friends who care about the Braves, but yeah, fuck them too. Yeah, that's right, Magoo. You heard me.
We had some local, like some small local sports in Lakeland, which is sort of in between Tampa and Orlando. They had arena football, which I went to a couple games and I get good and plastered. That was actually kind of fun. And they have what's that, little league? That's not right. Really creepy. Minor league baseball team. And we used to go to some of those games, and that was a fucking blast, man. It was like, it's not the whole hoopla of the big fucking sports event with parking and all the giant thing. You go sit on a grassy fucking field and, watch people. They seem like they play a little bit harder even,
Yeah, Louisville used to have a arena football league or football team, and in the summers I'd go stay with my aunt and uncle, and me and my uncle would go to a game, and then we go hit the bar downtown afterwards and stuff, and like it was fun. And it's Evansville has a semi-pro hockey team, like one of the minor league hockey teams, and those are always a lot of fun. Like I've been to a Blues game, and like the Blues game was really fun, but the small ones are so much different. Like we can get tickets like literally right down on the ice. And we always get whenever I've taken the kids, we always get tickets at sitting right next to the visiting team's bench. And so like the kids would go over and hang over the rail and give those guys high five when they were coming in and out of the locker room at breaks and stuff. Like it was really cool and really cool experience for the kids, especially when they were little, because they could just like stand down there and smash their face against the glass and watch these hockey players like splatter each other into the glasses. It was
Hockey is fun to watch live. I enjoy watching.
Oh yeah, I've been to a couple games, and yeah, they were a blast. So it isn't typically into sports stuff. I didn't even realize like the second game I saw like that, like you couldn't just take the puck and put it in the goal, like you had to like go back and forth like past the lines and that stuff. I was like,
to avoid like offsides and stuff. Yeah.
I went with my illegal Canadian immigrant friend, and he explained it all to me.
You don't hear of much of those.
No, but they're out there. The people tend to not try to deport them as often. It seems for some reason they blend in a little better, I guess.
It's that white privilege shit. It's because they look like us, so they just let them stick around.
Well, it's the kind of thing like like if you're if you're going to another country and you don't want to stand out, like okay, well, don't dress like an American.
Just get rid of the sorries and you're good.
Yeah, but I guess we do have that trouble if we go to another country and the general population is different skin complexion, and I guess you have a hard time blending in no matter what you do. Oh man, now I get their plight. Oh well. No, it all makes sense when I walk around in their shoes.
Go to India and you don't have the brown privilege.
You just got to go trans if you're in one of those countries.
If you go to India, just help them round up the cobras. You'd be good.
Let's see. Do we want to talk about Bank of America?
Oh boy.
That was kind of a funny article, just in the way that, if nothing else, just the way that people write about things.
Yeah, the wording of it was interesting, I guess.
They had a lot of here. I took some notes on this one. But so like the point of the article is basically like, oh, Bank of America is big and evil, which, hey, I'm not saying they're not, right? But there, I guess this memo came out of one of the executives or something being like, oh yeah, things are, there's not a lot of unemployment right now, and wages are high and this and that, and hopefully things will change and, things will come back into being more in our power and institutional power or whatever, which what would you expect? But the article does a lot of talking about inflation, right, and what's going on. And they do things like they blame corporate profits. They talk about how we should have like price controls in order to help. Like that's the key to reining in inflation is price controls. They speak very poorly of the Fed raising interest rates. They don't speak about the Fed like bad at all or talk about money printing at all. But they just, they're like, oh man, they actually use the term the Fed going on attack against regular people by raising interest rates above 0%. So, of course, people like us I assume you guys are on the same page with me economically that, let's use the old thing like, the raising rates is the hangover to the what have you. It's, necessary. Yeah, shit's going to suck, but like, you can't just print fucking money. I don't know.
No, I'm a Keynesian.
If anybody out of us, I knew it was going to be hard.
The spot we're in with the economy right now is kind of like, I view it in a similar manner as the house renovation. Like, the first thing that has to happen is the demo, and the demo is going to be fucking horrific, and like nothing's gonna be fun about that. He's worse than a child. Nothing's gonna be fun about that. Like it's gonna be terrible, but it's necessary, because if you don't do that first, then you can't do anything else. And so like that's how that's how this raising the inflation, or raising the interest rates is like, that's the demo phase. Like you have to do it, and it's going to suck for everybody, and especially like Bank of America and some of those. Like that's going to hit them pretty hard too, and that's why I think that's probably the biggest reason why the Fed has been so resistant to do anything like that for a decade now, is because like, let's not pretend this all just came about in the last 2 years. Like this has been going on since really the mid to late 2000s. So like we're over a decade in the making on this, and instead of slowly bringing interest rates up and trying to like curb the thing along the way, they've taken interest rates down and just made the problem even worse. So yeah, at some point you just got to rip the Band-Aid off and be like, all right, fuck it, we're gonna put everything into the tank for a couple years, and you're just gonna have to deal with it. Like, does that sound like a great idea? No, but at the same time, like, what's the alternative? Continue down the same path that we're going, where it just blow it up for the short term to fix it in the long term, or continue to run it even further into the ground. Like eventually you hit bedrock, right? And then the whole thing is dead.
Yeah, he says, oh man. Somebody else talk for a second.
Speaking of CPAC and financial interests, did you see that Papa John's got up and he didn't necessarily say the Jews, but he might as well have said the Jews?
And we know Papa John is anti-Semitic. That's why I love him so much. Good old Louisville guy. He's my hero.
I didn't know he's from Louisville.
Yeah. Let's see. Oh, well, speaking of the Jews.
No.
OJ, he's back in the news?
No, not the Jews.
Oh, no. Oh,
Bernie.
Say a few words about the so-called Inflation Reduction Act that we are debating this evening. And I say so-called, by the way, because according to the CBO and other economic organizations who have studied this bill, it will in fact have a minimal impact on inflation.
he still doesn't own a hairbrush.
That was my thoughts too. I was like, can someone tell him to comb his hair?
I didn't know he was still even in politics.
He has to continue to maintain the appearance of being poor, even though he has
Like,
a couple of lake houses.
He wrote soup spilled on his outermost coat.
You know, the thing that I've always loved the most is anytime you bring up the number of houses that Bernie has and how much money he makes, immediately his like psychotic socialist backers will go into like a full-on frenzy to explain away why he has those things and why those things are necessary and like da 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 da. It's like, man, y'all should be like fucking rocket scientists, because to do that level of mental gymnastics, your brain has got to be like jacked.
Yeah, I don't know. I have friends, actually, I don't really talk to them anymore, who were kind of in the Bernie bro movement. And whenever I'd hear people be like, well, Bernie bros are actually all right with some things, but the ones that I know, it makes sense why they would support Bernie.
I think
leave it at that.
I think the Bernie bro to anarchist pipeline is a pretty easily tappable one, or at least that's the direction my wife went, and it could be for other tapping reasons that it went in that direction. But you know, let's see. Dag was gonna tell us something else about the bank.
Yeah, I don't know. I was trying to find. They said they had like solutions, and I don't know. I couldn't find. There was something along the lines of like, oh, we just need to find a way to keep wages up and clear up supply chain issues and not raise interest rates. And I'm like, oh, so the magical three triangle thing that doesn't exist, trifecta unicorn.
Naturally,
Yeah.
the big
Sorry,
banks
let's
don't
down.
want interest rates to go up because it's gonna hurt them as much, if not more. Did you see? They just passed another new bill that is, and I mean they literally passed this bill on the 50 votes plus Kamala, that is going to raise taxes on everyone making more than $20,000 a year. So they are really taking huge steps to fight inflation and to make sure that the working class is going to be taken care of.
So I
Now,
thought it
Biden
was
said $400,000.
It's
Are you telling me they misled me? I'm sorry, Mark. Go ahead. I was just taking.
no. I had a less important thing to say. Both Justin's guy and girl mansion and cinema. One of them didn't betray you. Then I thought both of them were going to betray you.
They both betrayed me in
They
this
both
case.
betrayed you. What is the
Manchin voted.
number right now?
Manchin voted in favor of this thing based on some deal that was made with Schumer, and yeah,
I thought it's 52-48. I can't remember what the
the one that went down over the weekend was a 50-50.
yeah. No, but like the official, like why did Kamala had to vote, right? So
Yeah.
I'm just trying to think of the numbers here. I don't know.
Oh, Kamala. I just can't even just thinking I was trying to make some Johnny just cross my mind. That's the vice president, and I just
Yeah, she
lost
is.
it there. Sorry, I just I don't even know what to say. Oh fuck.
Is she really though? Like,
I mean, in effect, I don't know how much a vice president is anybody, but it seems like she's definitely less, right?
all right, so like on a scale of 1 to 10,
No,
and let's
no.
say that like Joe Biden was a 1, Dan Quayle was like a 1.5. Where would we put Kamala on vice presidential ranking?
Oh, okay. Are we gonna? Okay, so I need a reference point. What's a 10? Dick Cheney?
That's what I was wondering.
Are we looking for active role? Because Cheney was basically the president.
I was gonna
Or
say,
are
yeah,
we looking
like
at dumbassery?
for as much as we may hate Cheney, he, as a vice president, actually he was not the butt of every joke. He was actually somebody who wielded power and was an active vice president. Like
I
I
would say
would probably put
H,
Pence.
H Bush up there too. Then
Yeah,
H
like
Bush maybe like an 8.
yeah, H Bush would be up pretty high. Like Pence would probably be middle of the road. He didn't really do a whole lot, but he also didn't do anything that would make him seem like a retard. Like for the entirety of Biden or of Obama's 8-year presidency, Joe Biden was literally the butt of every joke. Like everybody made fun of how dumb he was. In 2016, during the election, there was an entire meme campaign that was completely based around how ridiculous and silly and stupid Joe Biden is. Like
It was one of my favorite meme campaigns ever.
It was
They were
funny.
so funny.
those were good memes.
Some of them still roll on my Facebook memories.
And
that was
Biden,
the best thing ever.
Biden ruined like Obama's like coming out for gay marriage because he came out before him and stuff. It was perfect.
Like yeah, so
That's
like,
gay.
and I mean, like we put maybe it should be flipped. Maybe it should be Biden was a 10 because he was so ridiculous and stupid and insane.
I think Kamala's like in the Aaron Burr, Harry Truman like area because like Truman never met with FDR like twice. Aaron Burr was hated by Jefferson, just like completely ignored. So I think that's where Kamala's at. Just
Be
like
down
nothing.
like a 2-3.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, but I hate to put her above Biden as a vice president because I don't know. I don't feel like she's done more.
Yeah,
But
now that I'm rethinking about it, like I think
I don't
Biden
know.
probably isn't a 1. Like Biden would probably rank somewhere higher.
Maybe
just
Kamala's
because-
the one.
Yeah, Kamala's the one.
Well, I'm glad we hashed
I
that
thought
out.
of Aaron Burr because of all the black actors playing in the Hamilton play. But I don't know.
Situation.
Aaron Burr is a little too cool for Kamala.
Was he the one who killed somebody in a duel or got killed?
Yeah,
in
he
a duel?
killed Hamilton.
Oh, that's cool. Didn't he end
Which
up
that would
dying in
make-
a duel too, though?
Did he what?
Didn't he end up dying in a duel? Maybe not. Maybe I'm thinking of the Hamilton duel.
He lived for
Cool
quite a while
story.
afterward. He was kind of excommunicated to like
After
Britain
killing
for a
Hamilton.
while.
Look, it's not illegal, but it's not really cool either, man. Like,
Right.
you kind of got to hit the road.
It's like baseball. There's a lot of unwritten rules in the whole dueling thing, and one of those unwritten rules is you're not supposed to actually shoot the motherfucker. You're just supposed to shoot in their general direction. Like,
Oh, really? Oh,
yes, that was.
I think they were both supposed to throw away their shot. And
Right. You're in like civilized dueling. You pick your gun, you take the paces, you shoot at each other. If you shoot to wound, not to kill. Like you might try to clip them in the
What's the
shoulder
fucking
or the
point?
leg or something. Like you're not. It's like when. I don't know. Do you have brothers or sisters or anything? It's like when siblings get in a fight and the parents like throw boxing gloves at them or something and be like, just go beat the shit out of each other for a little while. Get it out
my
of your
sister is
system.
4 years younger than me. My parents weren't that bad.
Go beat the shit out of each other for a little while. Get it out of your system, and then everybody moves on. That's the
I
idea.
get that. And in the very earthly wisdom of Red Foreman, if you're not mad enough to, clear out a circle and just have a good old fashioned fist fight about it, you just must not be that mad. All right, I get that, but we're not talking about a fist fight here. Nobody, like, if the whole idea is we're just gonna put on a show for everybody so everybody thinks we're men, then like that's fucking stupid.
Isn't that what pro wrestling is?
Right?
People pay a lot of money to watch that stuff.
Hey man, you want to work an angle here? All right, grab the pistols. Let's go. Let's go do this. I got the blade. I'll cut myself. It'll look like you shot me. It'll be fucking dynamite, dude. Hell yeah.
Yes.
That's exactly what it's like. Great.
And they agree to terms beforehand many times. I don't know. Maybe
Sometimes
we
they
should bring
really
it back.
hurt. Yeah, I like it. But yeah, I'm
Imagine
over
this
it.
class of politicians dueling them.
Man, none of them know what to do with a gun, so they would all end up shooting each other when they're supposed to be missing. So I say, let's do it. Let's bring it back. Watch them just clip each other in the eyeball over and over again.
Feinstein was once asked like what a magazine was or something. She goes, I think it's a lever on the bottom that goes up.
Close, pretty close.
The shoulder thing that goes up. Yeah, classic.
I need to find like a clip that's a montage of leftist politicians talking about guns and getting it completely wrong, and use that for like a intro for one of our upcoming shows.
We have used the capsize the island before, haven't we?
Yes. It's like, how does he think islands work? Like, does he think it's just like a floating piece of like
Floating land.
Correct me if I'm wrong.
Like an iceberg, but land.
I'm not a geologist, but I'm pretty sure an island is like actually attached to the earth, like the floor of the earth, like it goes all the way down, right?
That's
Like
how I've always imagined them.
maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it is just a really thick piece of dirt that's floating there, but I'm almost positive it goes all the way to the bottom. Like it's, unless it somehow breaks free somewhere, it's not going to capsize.
It's kind of like a hollow earth theory where there's a big floating chunk of land, but it's hollow on the inside, and that's how islands work. So they're buoyant, but to a point. You go crazy,
All right,
many
Big Bear.
Haitians on one of them. That's why all the Haitians are coming over here. Their island's about to flip over.
That makes sense.
I just like the response. We don't envision that happening, sir.
So is Benny? His name is Benny Johnson, right?
I think it was something Johnson.
So is he a hollow earther or?
I don't know.
I'm thinking crazy. The whole earth isn't hollow here, just islands.
Yeah,
just the islands.
I like it.
Yeah. That's all I
Surrounded
got.
by
I really wanna see
retards.
Because democracy basically means government by the people, of the people, for the people. But the people are retarded.